Hello and welcome. Welcome to back to the journey within. This is session number 3. If you haven't seen session 2 or the introduction, please go back and watch those videos. It'll give you some context. This is finding your true purpose, becoming your best self. Hi, I'm author Sonya Zappone. I'm a registered yoga teacher and author of The Hero's Journey Inwards, The Ego's Journey to the Soul. Welcome. I'm excited to share this spiritual concept with you that has brought me through living an authentic life. The hero's journey, I believe, is inside each one of us, and that we do have the power to free ourselves, and all of us first, but we free ourselves. So you have the power to free us all by freeing yourself. Think about that. Think about that for a moment, because if you take this hero's journey inwards, then you can become a hero on the outside. You can take it outwards. I love this quote by Carl Jung. He or she who looks outside dreams. He or she who looks within awakens. So you come to look at your life as one big hero's journey, and first you save yourself, and then you can possibly save others. Journaling is a way to go. It's a way to separate yourself and dive into your journal to get away. You can consider this workshop like a mini spiritual retreat, and this is self-paced, it's self-focused, it's a journaling journey, and you're getting to the center of yourself. And when you're journaling and writing, you are deeply reflecting to discover that inner voice, that inner hero. And once we find that inner hero through all these layers of the self, which is I call the ego, to get to the true soul, it's where we find a mission from the soul, from the inside of us. We find an outer mission to help the outer world. The hero's journey inwards is where we heroically save ourselves from ourselves. So we've learned and we've seen that self-doubt can be deadly. Maybe you've seen this in your life, and that self-sabotage is like being one's own enemy. And we have darkness and light within us. And the hero's journey inward is to face that darkness, defeat that darkness, and bring forth the light of our soul. So how do we access our inner hero? We take this heroic journaling inwards, and we do these writing assignments. We share, we do this in community. That's coming up soon. But for now, we're taking this individual journey. And I love this poem that I just wrote called Breathe Out the Noise of the World. I'll share that with you now. Maybe take a deep breath in. And just arriving to session 3. With lives so busy, with minds so cluttered, with so much to do daily, we have to regularly breathe out the noise of the world. There's chaos, confusion, craziness, and complexities. So we must seek and step into solutions daily. We have to unplug, detach, seek sanctuary, solitude, and serenity. Each of us has the power to free us all by first freeing themselves. We have work to do that includes implementing boundaries, installing our own firewalls, blocking out, safeguarding our precious time, staying aware, being bold, and acting bravely. Because there is noise that is nonsense. There are people shouting their pain and problems, hoping for someone to hear them and take on their burdens. We have to center ourselves in our heart space and come back to ourselves to find internal guidance and follow the right voice. We have choices, options, and many paths that we can take. We have to take the path inwards to find sure footing in our steps outwards. And it all starts with a breath out. Breathe out the noise of the world. So, welcome to my work. Hopefully that poem grounded you. Take a deep breath out. Breathe out all the noise of the world that may have got you stirred up on the inside. So I have a few books of poems and guides. So my first book, The Soul Doesn't Need $1 Million, is 7 secrets to access the power within you to discover purpose and meaning and work that you love. And The Hero's Journey Inwards is a follow-up book. I'm very passionate about the study of the hero's journey and steps and stages. I like to always thank Joseph Campbell, an author and professor that discovered the monomyth, which is meaning it all seems to be very similar, and there seems to be one myth that all these different myths, like a pattern, follow, and how powerful myth can be in teaching us and reflecting what's really happening on the inside of us. Joseph Campbell's words, there's a certain typical sequence of actions which can be detected from stories from all over the world and in many, many periods of history. So that is what I call, this is what it means to me. One, there's a hero's journey within each of us. And I would say 1A, there's a map. And two, there's a powerful potential in each one of us to become a hero. And for me, the journey of consciousness has been from the ordinary person of in the ordinary um, ego through down into the subconscious mind and coming up from the special world with the light of our soul, going from normal life to a spiritual life and coming back with that spiritual life to affect our lives, our regular lives in this known ordinary world. So, this is a self help workshop designed to bring out the best in you. We want to do these 3 things: achieve a hero's mindset, identify the steps and stages of the hero's journey or the ego's journey to the soul, or both. Know where you are on the map. Find out where you are in this journey. If you're hearing a call to adventure and you keep doing refusal of the call, that's where you're stuck. And we want to access the soul to bring out our best self. So, the upcoming exercise for this, so self paced journaling journey, is a letter to your future self from the seat of your soul. So, it means you have to get into the soul, and there's tools and ways to tap that inner guidance. And this is transformational journaling. So here's the profound premise, is that your answers are within you, and this is what you're accessing. You're trying to access the answers that may be buried deep within you. That's the boon, that's the buried treasure you're going on this adventure for. The intro journaling assignment was deep. In the introduction is write your own obituary. How well did you live? It's a great overview of your life, and it really shows what matters, where you spent your time, where you gave your love, where you served the world. So you might want to pause that and start that process. Start with the basics. Read a few obituaries. Do the obituaries you read inspire you, or were they just living a normal life, taking from the world, being a consumer, and not leaving much of a legacy? Or you can just see what people are living for their lives, and maybe it inspires you to live differently or live up to something. So the hero's journey inwards is a spiritual overhaul. In session 1, we can write from the ego, which is like a vent session, and then write from the soul, which is more a sincere, authentic voice. That can be done daily, and it can be the transformational journaling that you need. If you got to wake up and vent all your frustrations, everything that's wrong, because the ego, what we know now is it has to be heard. Some people think it's like an advantage to have this inner critic. Especially, we need fear in our lives, in the world, so we don't get ourselves into trouble. Fear can be a good thing. Um, we may not be able to walk around in pure love as loving beings, because we have both sides, dark and light. But some awakened masters have been able to do this. I'm sure you'll have your own awakening once you can wake up to see what the ego's done, and that it's saying to you. You might have your own mini awakening, spiritual awakening to the power of your soul. Are the identified steps in the ego's journey to the soul, the journey inwards. Because everyone said, what are the steps we need to take to become a hero? Well, the first one that we're working on, we've gone through these in the first one, but it's separating ourselves from distraction and chronic seeking of entertainment or things to numb ourselves. We are we've gone to ask for divine assistance. We've gone to believe that there's a higher power or find a higher power, and now we're going to hear in this step ask for help. And then we're going to go into the creative side of ourselves because we're trying to get to the soul. There's tools, there's paths, there's avenues, there's ways in. So, this is session 3, and we're doing this journaling journey, and we're going to be writing a letter to our future self. And we also have a pick one issue with 2 different viewpoints. So, if you've got an issue that you're bothered by, maybe it's a relationship or a job you hate or something that's really bothering you, we can see it from both the ego and the soul and give our thoughts a voice. So the step here is to separate yourself from the ordinary world and your regular life. Now you can do this by opening your journal. You can put on some music, you could close your eyes, you can block out, and you can open the journal and come to a different world. So you might have that special journal. And the step says separate yourself from the ordinary world, distractions, entertainment, chaos, and seek solitude. So you can practice soul distancing from toxic people, and you can soak in stillness and silence. Your own serenity here is what you're coming back to when you step out of your regular life and into journaling. Can't say enough good things about journaling, because from journaling can come authentic sharing, and sharing with someone like a holy witness or a safe spiritual partner or a spiritual director can really be transformative as well. And then the next step is ask for divine assistance. So we're asking to restore our soul power and the energy to embark on a mission. And we're going to be willing and ready to take small steps from the direction of the soul. And we're accessing that power from a higher power. Maybe we don't have it already accessible within ourselves. And then the next step is stepping into our creativity with art or getting into creative mode. And it's write, draw, paint, make music, dance, walk, run, practice yoga. So, however you are creative, however you can express your unique, authentic self with any type of art, this is where you're stepping into creative mode, which pulls you up, pulls your soul up and out for you to actually see. So, just a recap, we did on the last session talk about the need for a higher power to go the distance, that it's required. This is a spiritual journey. That means we're going to be accessing the spirit, spiritual energy, God's energy, grace, whatever you believe in as a higher power, love, the power of nature. Um, we want to make contact with that higher power. So one of the exercises was to write a letter to yourself from your higher power's voice. So you can pause this now and write that letter to yourself and then read it back to yourself. You might have to go somewhere to write and journal. You might have to go somewhere to journal, maybe out in nature, maybe a bookstore, maybe a library. Um, you might have to separate yourself from your ordinary world by leaving where you live. And that can be part of your adventure. So that was step 5. And just some of the insight is your soul is your connection to this higher power. And that's why we're finding that higher power, and then we're trying to access it from our soul. Another recap was the tools for connecting to the soul is meditation, prayer, journaling, gratitude, yoga, stillness, retreats, retreat into nature, retreat into the library, um, spiritual study, reading from any sacred text, self-help study, music, poetry, going to meetings like the 12-step meetings that are free, online, in person, on phone, everywhere, and mentors, which you can find with therapists or sponsors in programs or coaches, life coaches. And one of the tips I give is to out the ego, to get out of your ego. So you've got to say, this is what my ego is saying, and it needs to be heard. This is what I'm frustrated with. This is what I'm angry about. Those venting sessions can relieve like the pressure valve in your mind and spirit. Exercise also can help, intense exercise. So remember those tips and those tools. This is another recap that this was last session talked about at the end. Writing a story from your average self, like this is what happened to me in childhood, and these are the horrors, and here's the tragedy, and here's what I endured and survived. And then you go into the story from the hero. So you write about how you were born with your gifts and how your life was a sacred journey, how you heroically saved yourself from a childhood, or you were a warrior, or you overcame or withstood life's hardships. So we're writing from the soul that would see your life as heroic. And just another tip, you can rewrite your life story from a heroic perspective at any time. And you'd want to share this with a safe person, not any person who could criticize you or put you down for seeing from a different angle of what you've endured in your life. So I call these holy witnesses that see the sacredness of your life's journey. Now, this is the letter to your future self. Once you read all this, you can pause. Sometimes, well, I'd say all the time, you will need encouragement and hope to keep going and help. And so you can pause this and write a letter to yourself with encouragement of what you think you will need next month, next year. um Workshop in person, I'd write, have these participants write this, and I'd mail that back to them in a month or 2 months or 3 months. But you can put it in a note on your phone or in your calendar and have an alert reminder so that it comes up and you can read this letter, or a note to self, to your future self. And I've done these in workshops, and I got them back and I read it and I'm like, wow, this was, you want, and we always do this towards the end of the workshop. Once we've accessed that higher self, a higher power, and our soul, these letters can be very profound. And some of them are to make great changes, and some of the letters to ourselves are just to keep going and encouraging to keep going on the path. So pause this and write that letter. Remember, you want to get to the seat of your soul and write the letter to your future self from there, not from an angry ego that feels everything is lacking and you're unfulfilled. So take some time, put on a song, and take some sacred soul time, um, self care, and write that letter to your future self. Welcome back. I'm just going to recap this daily transformational journaling that you might be doing with a split page, writing from the ego, which is like 2 minutes of just non gratitude. And then writing from the soul, a 3-minute gratitude session. And you want to make this time longer, like get this out and then make this time longer. And you can always do that big ask. I gave you like 1 minute to do it, so you could grab whatever is coming up, but you can increase this time with the question, what is it I need to know right now? So you might want to pause this, write in the journal, what is it you need to know right now, and see what comes up and out for you to digest and reflect on. If you remember from my book, when you're down here on these bottom floors of a building and you're seeing just from the street, but you could go up and you could take a higher perspective of your life and see it, you see it better, see it with gratitude, see it with awe and wonder. So we want to go up out of the ego into the light of our soul. You can join me in your journey on Facebook, and remember to like and subscribe to this channel, as we always are posting more heroic missions that you can go on for self and soul. And find me on Facebook, The Hero's Journey Inwards. Like the page for daily inspirational tips and messages to stay on the hero's journey inwards. Pull out that hero within you. You could buy the book, available on Amazon in paperback or Kindle. If you're still wanting to embark on this journey, you're brave. I have a free blog going on WordPress. You're welcome to come over there and read some more inspirational writings, because the world needs heroes. The world needs you. The world actually hinges on the individual hero at times. All of us hinge on this hero who's willing to be brave and bold and step out. And so I'm encouraging you to take the hero's journey inwards. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next session.